For many years, fans have been in awe of Wayne Carini, a name synonymous with antique car restoration. Wayne has established himself as one of the most reliable people in the automotive industry thanks to his unmatched ability to revive old cars and his popular TV show chasing classic cars. What transpires, however, when confidence in the vehicle restoration sector is compromised? Even a seasoned professional like him was unprepared to deal with unexpected legal issues and problems. What was Wayne Carini's actual fate? And how did his companies become involved in several legal disputes? A seemingly ordinary automobile deal involving a rare 1934 Pierce Arrow coupe marked the beginning of Wayne Carini's legal issues. Long before Wayne was involved, the narrative began in 2010 when Australian antique collector Robert Richmond paid $98,000 up front for the vehicle through a friend named Gary Dixo. Nevertheless, Gary listed the automobile under his own name instead of delivering it as scheduled, therefore excluding Richmond from the transaction and depriving the collector of the car he had paid for. The Pierce Arrow reappeared in 2017 after Gary, who was now having financial difficulties, sold the vehicle without Richmond's knowledge. Wayne was asked to evaluate the vintage coupe throughout this purchase. He estimated the car's value between $110,000 and $120,000 without knowing its turbulent past or ownership dispute, and when it became up for sale, he bought it himself. Wayne was unaware that Gary, who had supplied all required ownership documentation, had obtained these documents fraudulently in order to profitably sell the car. Legal documents, however, showed that Wayne pretended the paperwork was authentic and behaved in good faith during the acquisition. When Richmond started tracing his automobile and discovered that it had changed hands several times, the issue got worse. Due to his difficulties, he filed a lawsuit in 2018, in which F40 Motorsports, Wayne Carini, and other individuals were named as defendants. After years of dubious activities with the Pierce Arrow coupe, the case would eventually look into the transaction as well as the veracity of Gary's ownership claims. Despite being unintentional, Wayne's presence raised a lot of awareness about the situation. The judge later determined that Wayne had not done anything unlawful, but he still had to help with refunding funds in order to settle the lawsuit, according to court documents that the Hartford Courant examined. This early phase of the dispute demonstrated how easily documentation and trust might be abused in the auto restoration industry, even entangling someone with Wayne's level of skill. Even though Wayne Carini was eventually found not guilty in the Pierce Arrow coupe case, the lawsuit's effects were extensive. In addition to damaging Wayne's reputation, the legal dispute revealed weaknesses in the classic automobile industry, where F40 Motorsports, Wayne's company, depends heavily on accurate documentation and trust. A veil of doubt was created by the controversy. Every transaction must be legitimate for clients and collectors, and legal disputes might raise questions regardless of how they are resolved. In this instance, the handling of historic car transactions, from ownership confirmation to appraisals, was clearly highlighted. In a subsequent interview with the Hartford Courant, Wayne discussed the significance of documentation, saying that any dealer in this industry must have faith in the documentation. Although it's not always possible to know a car's entire history, you can use the records as evidence. These remarks clarify how, in the event that the chain of ownership is unclear, even seasoned professionals may unintentionally find themselves in the middle of complex legal issues. The conflict was exacerbated by the media's coverage of it. Although Wayne had no malicious intent, his company's involvement in ownership issues raised doubts about the care with which it purchased cars. In a field where reputation is crucial, this was very harmful. Despite the fact that Wayne's activities were not directly at blame, the court case revealed one of the main issues facing the auto restoration industry: balancing diligence and passion. The dangers associated with incomplete or fabricated records were brought to the attention of dealers, appraisers, and collectors. Wayne learned a painful lesson from the episode about how unstable trust in this sector can be. There was more to the Pierce Arrow case than just a legal tangle. It illustrated the brittleness of a sector that depends on accurate paperwork and good faith, which even Wayne Carini, who has decades of expertise, couldn't always confirm. Wayne Carini faced legal hurdles and a lot of public attention as a result of the Pierce Arrow litigation, but there were other issues related to his business practices. Another client issue involving Wayne's company, F40 Motorsports, occurred in 2011, raising concerns about the company's communication and customer service. The sale of a 2007 Lamborghini Gallardo that was promoted with an upscale luggage package valued at an estimated $88,000 was at the heart of this disagreement. For the buyer, who was apparently eager to finish the purchase anticipating the inclusion of the luxury feature, the high-end package became a crucial selling factor. However, the buyer found out that the luggage package was missing when the car was delivered, which resulted in months of back-and-forth attempts to fix the problem. The buyer filed a lawsuit after becoming irate at Wayne and his team's lack of response. The customer published their experience on Lamborghini Talk, an online automobile forum, claiming that F40 Motorsports' contact was erratic and that their promises to address the issue were postponed for weeks. The buyer later received the missing luggage shipment and the spare key for the automobile via FedEx, resolving the matter out of court. But the lengthy procedure left the customer dissatisfied with what they perceived as poor customer service and communication from a company that had made a name for itself as a market leader in luxury and historic cars. Wayne's reputation was impacted by this case even though it received less attention than the Pierce Arrow litigation. Concerns regarding F40 Motorsports' handling of client complaints were brought to light, and it served as a reminder to other members of the automobile business of the significance of being transparent while promoting expensive cars. Even though Wayne personally stepped in to settle the conflict, the incident revealed fundamental difficulties in keeping upscale clients' trust, especially when problems are not resolved right away. It served as yet another illustration of how, in the high-stakes world of luxury car sales, even seemingly simple transactions can become reputational hazards. Wayne Carini's businesses were not only negatively impacted monetarily by the legal issues and disagreements around him. They also put his reputation, which had been a pillar of his career, at serious peril. Even if Wayne is exonerated of any wrongdoing, his involvement in numerous cases might cast doubt on him in the eyes of fans, clients, and collectors. In particular, the Pierce Arrow case sparked discussions among fans on the care with which dealers check a car's ownership history, particularly for rare and expensive automobiles. Wayne acted with good intentions, but his involvement in the incident was enough to raise suspicions. Such high-profile disputes can cause long-lasting harm in a corporation whose success is driven by trust and word of mouth. The Lamborghini instance revealed more weaknesses in F40 Motorsports' customer care procedures. Customers started complaining about poor communication and unresolved issues in internet forums and reviews. In a post on a site for collector cars, an anonymous former customer characterized F40 as reliable but overburdened, making minor mistakes in high-stakes transactions. While this criticism wasn't directed at Wayne personally, it did depict a company that was having difficulty keeping up with the increasing demands of being at the top of the automobile industry. Furthermore, although the media's coverage of these lawsuits was little compared to more significant car industry scandals, it nevertheless brought attention to how competitive and unstable the collector car market can be. Even a small suggestion of controversy around a dealer or restorer might cause collectors to search elsewhere, causing a chain reaction that may take years to resolve. In a piece concerning legal conflicts in historic automobile transactions, AutoWeek pointed out that in a niche industry where reputation is crucial, trust is brittle. In order to keep his credibility, Wayne had to take steps to avoid future conflicts in addition to confronting current difficulties head-on. These actions included improving buyer transparency, altering documentation procedures, and stepping up efforts to keep lines of communication open with clients. These difficulties served as a reminder of the direct connection between operational errors and reputational risk going ahead, forcing Wayne to assess and modify how business was performed at F40 Motorsports. Even after these disagreements were settled, the residual reluctance among certain clients highlighted how crucial trust is to the success of a whole sector. For others in the collector car sector as well as for Wayne Carini himself, the scandals and legal actions involving him and F40 Motorsports were a wake-up call. The attention Wayne's cases received brought to light the vulnerabilities even for reputable brands, even though legal conflicts are not unusual in the field of antique vehicles, whose ownership histories can extend decades and entail many transactions. The importance of procedural due diligence seems to be one important lesson to be learned from these experiences. These kinds of disagreements highlight the need for comprehensive title searches, buyer-seller contact, and ironclad paperwork, according to automotive law expert John Dreas, who was featured in Sports Car Market. Wayne's difficulties showed how even the most seasoned professional could miss possible red signals when depending just on supplied documents, even while Dreas was making general references to problems in the business. If anything, the difficulties have shown that even in a career characterized by success and celebrity, mistakes or perceived faults are unavoidable. Going forward, Wayne appears committed to solidifying his position in the industry, not by using the lawsuits as justifications but by utilizing them as a lesson. One's legacy is frequently determined by how they handle such circumstances.